Daura Palace is another historical building in Daura town, constructed in the 17th century during the reign of Magaja Daurama. The building was constructed with traditional blocks dried under the sun. It has inner room, which was called Zaurangani, that served as a conference hall for the traditional rulers of that time. This is the old palace, which was constructed when the population was small. It was called Daura Palace, the first building which was constructed by the Queen Daurama, who was the 9th queen among the 17 female traditional rulers who ruled Daura Emirate. The palace served as a farm at that time, after the discovery of Kusuf Well 200 years before the coming of Bayejidda. All the traditional rulers resided in many palaces in Daura. They ruled concurrently between the Fulani and Habe dynasties until the coming of Western world, who colonized Nigeria. About 100 years, Fulani had 9 traditional rulers, with Muhammad Megardo the 7th among them. He ruled from 1876 to 1906 before the colonization in 1903. The King Muhammad Megardo was succeeded by his son Sogiji, who refused to accept the tradition of selecting the next king by the kingmakers. Unfortunately, Emir Sogiji did not last longer. He spent only 19 days on the throne before he was dethroned by the European colonizers. He was dethroned and banished for insubordination by the European colonizers. Sogiji and Murne refused to obey the tradition of selecting the next king, which led to their dethronement. The next emir was selected from Fulani Habe from Zango to be the emir of Daura, which brought to the end of Zango Emirate. It was just like what transpired in Katsina Emirate, where there was Dallazawa, Sulubawa, and Fulani Dangi. At that time, Mala Musa spent 7 years on the throne and later died at 57 years. He was succeeded by Waziri Abdurrahman, his son, who was stubborn at the age of 31 and spent 55 years on the throne. Later, his grandson Muhammad Bashar inherited him, who also ruled for 40 years as the Emir of Daura. This is the remaining part of the palace demonstrating where the king is seated. There were 12 inner rooms at the palace where royal guards used to sit.
Zaure goma sha biyu ne daga nan zuwa gidan sarki. Wannan shine main entrance to ski. Wannan soro ana kira shi soron zagagi. Nan mai martaba yakan zauna huta kafa zuwa fada. Sai zagage kuma zuwa sora.
This is the old house and a graveyard where 6 kings were buried behind their homes. This happened before the Emir Bashar constructed a new house over there. Before Emir Bashir was being on the throne, other emirs, Abdurrahman and his father Malam Musa, resided in this house until during the reign of Muhammad Bashir, who constructed that new house. This is a farm used by the then traditional rulers for horses being used in staging annual Salah Daba and other traditional festivities. They are those horses dressed with various traditional attires and those being used to sight enemies, which were used during wars. The history of Daura cannot be completed without mentioning the Kusuf Well, which was located in the ancient city of Daura. Considering its significance to the history of Hausa tradition, it has a relevant history with Hausa culture. History revealed that the Kusuf Well was discovered in the 17th century during the reign of Queen Daurama, who changed the old Daura town to its new settlement for the purpose of the new source of water, that is Kusuf Well. Daura residents have faced serious water problem before the coming of Bayezid, the son of Abdullahi, the king of Baghdad. Presently, Kusuf Well is preserved as one of the historical artifacts. Tourists from within and outside the country used to visit Kusuf Well to see a knife and sword used by Bayezid to kill the snake that disturbed the community and the drums of his wife, Magadia Daurama, which were among the historical artifacts of Daura Emirate. They are currently being kept at the Emir's Palace. Kusuf Well had never dried and is believed the water is being used for various illnesses.